Got a question here from a guy named Sterling Rutherford. There we go. So you got a question here about why it seems so easy for the modern young man to fall into complacency and have an average life.
Yeah.
How old are you?
I am 18.
Okay, another youngin. And
Yeah.
you think that young men today are complacent and falling into an average life?
Yeah, well, it just seems, it's easy to go on the internet and on YouTube and, listen to guys like you talk about success and stuff. But when I go out into the real world, and I see it seems so common. It seems so easy for guys to work, for example, a retail job for 30 years, and it seems discouraging to me. I mean, how I don't want to be like pessimistic, but how realistic do
No,
you
I think
think?
I know what you're saying. I mean, like I worked a retail job. How old was I? Maybe 18 or 19. Maybe for
Yeah.
about 2 or 3 years. I worked this retail job at a stereo store. VCRs, TVs, like stereos. Like, I used to do installs, like, surround sound stuff in people's homes. It paid shit.
Yeah.
Like the pay was pretty crap. Do you have YouTube running somewhere else? I'm getting feedback somewhere. I don't know if you got another screen, if you can mute it. But you don't want to stay in that position for too long. Like I would tell every guy here, I'm just going to mute you for a sec while I'm talking so I don't get that feedback. But I would tell every guy to work a shit job at least once in your life. I've done a few. I've pruned Christmas trees in the summer heat. And in that job, you have to get up at 4 a.m. to do it at the crack of dawn in the summer because you can't prune it at like high heat in the summertime. So when you're 16 and you're up at 4 a.m. to prune fucking Christmas trees at minimum wage, that's about the shittiest job that you can do. And I got fired from that job because the guy didn't like the way that I shaped the tree, right? It's like, forgive me, buddy. You're paying me peanuts. I'm driving all the way out here at 4 o'clock in the morning to shave down your trees, and it's not straight enough for you, right? So every guy should work a crap job at some point to realize that working those crap jobs should be part of the launch pad to get you to, start thinking about chasing excellence. I don't know if you ever heard Kevin O'Leary's story, but he talked about this ice cream shop that he worked at and how the owner of the shop was like a witch and made him scrape gum off the floor, sort of thing, like that kind of thing. So if that's what you're okay with, and if that's the complacency that, you want to stay in, you got nobody to blame but yourself. But if you look at your job, when you go to it and you're like dreading even going to the job, then you have to realize it's actually a good thing, because that's you. That's your intuition telling you, hey, buddy, like you can do better than this. Like, let's step it up here. Again, men have the burden of performance in society. All women have to do is show up and look pretty. Okay. The hardest thing that women have to do today is not get fat and be pleasant, not be disagreeable, not become one of these boss bitches and all that kind of stuff, but be pleasant, be agreeable, enter a man's frame sort of thing, and compliment his life, not be the focus of it. Guys have to do something. They have to learn competency skills. They have to learn the ability to make bank, right? To make it rain. They also have to know how to preside. They also have to know how to protect and defend themselves and anyone around them in their inner circle, if they have a family, if they have friends, whatever. Like, these are important skills that guys need to learn. But nobody's telling guys these things anymore. Everybody's telling guys, don't worry about it. Did somebody offend you? There's a safe space over here for you to sit in, blah, blah, blah. And that's a function of society bubble wrapping children and parents helicopter parenting children, and an epidemic of single parent households, which is mostly single mother households, raising boys without fathers. There's a lack of masculinity in the world. I cover a lot of this in my book too, right? So why are men, like this today? There's a lot of reasons why, but men don't have to be like that. And the good news is you can stand out like a shining star from a sea of turkeys, right? You want to soar like an eagle? It's a lot easier to do today when most guys are just happy walking the ground, being a turkey, complaining about their life, sulking. It's not fair. Oh, boo frickin' who? Okay. Life is hard. Fucking deal with it. Make yourself better. Stand up and go and do the work. That's what most guys fail at. And if you can take ownership for that and you can go and do that, you'll be just fine. I mean, you're 18, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You'll be just fine, man.
Okay.
You understanding this now and recognizing that there's work to be done and start executing on that work and getting better month after month, year after year. Don't beat yourself up too much at 18.
Okay.
If you were 38, I would say, okay, we need to have a conversation. I've
Right.
often said to guys, look, if you're 18 and you're an alpha Chad, like you're a good looking guy, but you have a plan, that's all you need right now.
Okay.
If you're 38 or 48 and you're maybe a good looking guy still, but all you have is a plan, that ain't good enough at that age. Okay. So if you have a plan, start executing on it. If you don't have a plan, figure out what that plan is.
Yeah.
Start with that.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, I guess it's just it seems so sad to me. It's the thing that I deal with on an everyday basis, like I work at FedEx, I work at the Home Depot, and it's like every time the higher ups are always like, you want to be here for 30 years, man, you want to be here for 20, 40 years, man. And it's just like, I don't know. It just like it depresses me, because I want to make sure that I don't have a false sense of entitlement. Like I want to go and start a business. I want to go and do this, do that, right? I don't want to work a fucking retail job until the end of time, man. I just want to make sure that I'm being realistic about it.
Cool. So
everyone is stuck in that. I don't.
Get
How does someone get like
mad
that?
at yourself. So get mad at yourself and hold yourself accountable, because people don't hold others accountable today anymore. Women are no longer accountable. They can do whatever the fuck they want. They can make up a Me Too without any proof whatsoever and ruin a guy's life. Like there's no accountability. Same thing with men, right? I'll just whatever. I'll work that retail job for 20 years. I'll sit at home. I'll go and search the internet for. Here, I got to meet you again. I'm going to go and search the internet for crap that's going to, support my narrative of why I should be sulking here about the cards I've been dealt. Stop being a pussy is really what it boils down to. Just double down and do the fucking work. Right. And if you can start with that mentality, like that's all that David Goggins is all about, right? Like he's basically like, don't be a pussy and do the work sort of thing, right? You see him yelling at people. Dan Pena, another guy. Start like, I'll leave you with this thought, before we wrap up. You're going to become the average of the people that you spend the most time with. So if you're hanging out with guys that have been in the retail space for 30 or 40 years, telling you that this is all that you're ever going to amount to, you're the smartest guy in the room. Get the fuck out of that room. Put yourself in a room where you're not the smartest guy in the room and surround yourself with greater people. And if you can't find a room to surround yourself with greater people, you can watch YouTube videos from guys that have chased greatness. You can read books and study excellence, read biographies of successful entrepreneurs. The Everything Store is a book about Amazon and Jeff Bezos. If you want to learn about entrepreneurship and the kind of shit that men chasing excellence need to do to put a dent in the universe, read stuff about that and get inspired. I didn't have anybody inspire me. My dad was a basic, corporate droid. He never had a successful business, but I took a look around at everybody. I'm like, fuck this. I grew up in a household where food was rationed. I was only able to have like one yogurt a day because if I ate more than that, then that was no good and I'd get yelled at. And we were told as kids, me and my brothers, how to take a shit and how many times you had to fold the toilet paper to get the most out of it so that you didn't use too much toilet paper. Like this is the kind of house that I grew up on. And I'm like, fuck this, right? So get mad and then just go out and start doing the work on it. Make sense? Hang on, I'll unmute you there. You good?
All right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you.
See you, man. Peace.